Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Australian report for Tuesday, August 23. This is what we've been looking at here with wave 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, and ABC for 4 pulling back to the 38.2% retracement level, and then a move to the upside as wave A over here, or wave 1. But it appears that in the US markets, the move up here is looking more like an A and a B and a C wave here, as we've had as an alternative count, making that wave A over here, eliminating the possibility of wave 1 here, and then pulling back for wave B here. So I want to go to just a clean chart and just draw out the two pathways that we're looking at. So first of all, it does appear that we've got 5 waves moving down here. It also appears that they're not finished yet, so we'll come a little bit further than that. Then, because we've got 5 waves there, we're going to have a little rally, an ABC rally, and then we're going to have another move down. Now, this move down through here, we can label it, there's two things that can occur. We can label it as an ABC pattern, and then a move to the upside to create, let's just fill in a few dots here. So wave A here, and then a wave B up here for this. And in here we would look at this ABC pattern that we've been looking at. We'll look at this as wave A here, and wave B here, and then wave C to the upside. So when markets go in one direction quite strongly, then media and even our own minds start to think that that's correct. So as this starts to come down here, then folks are going to say that the big recession that we've been talking about will be coming into play, and they could possibly be right, and we could end up with a move further down into this space here. So I think it's important not to get lost in the hype and stay with the evidence. So what we will do is that if we do end up with 5 waves down into this leg here, which is highly probable, then what we're going to do is we're going to short, I'm going to call it wave B, or we can call it wave 2 as well. Okay, so the wave 3 would come much deeper down through here, and as a wave 1 or A wave here, then a B or 2, and then down here would be the C wave at this junction here. So what we're going to do is we're going to just allow the 5 waves to come down, because there's a beginning and a middle and an end of each trend, and we've got the beginning, we've got the middle, and now we need the end of the trend. The move back up, if we get 5 waves here, then we'll definitely get another 5 over here. So that means that we can short this move coming back up here as B or 2. We can short it right on the top, based on having those 5 waves here, meaning that after 5 waves you'll get a correction and then another 5. So because normally we would wait for a setup, and we'll wait for setups as well, but the idea would be to build into the beginning of this trend here, and then we've got to kind of figure out, well, are we going down for a big third wave? Are we going to take this low out down here, or are we just going to have an ABC and then go to the upside? We won't know that until this move here starts. Now, as a C wave, it will be on a bit more of an angle than the A wave here. Now, as a third wave, it will move a little bit quicker down here. Right, it will be at the same speed as wave A here, or faster. Wave C will be reluctant to move down, so it'll be on more of an angle. So the angle will be able to help us to decide what we're in here, wave C or wave 3. Now, of course, there will also be the wave structure as well, because a wave 3 will step out much stronger, and a wave C will have good form to it, but it'll be a little bit more, a bit more of a tighter trend, so to speak, you know, reluctantly wanting to move down. So once again, the personality of the two structures will help us out with that. So really, that's all I've got to say about it. I think that just be careful of your opinions, because what I will do is just wait for the evidence at this point here, but we're going to prepare for it. So luck is preparation, opportunity meeting. So we're going to organize ourselves in this wave B or wave 2 here, and then, you know, holding positions in here, and we'll see if we can, you know, capture, you know, we may get lucky and get a third wave, but there's a lot of reasons, which I won't go into right now, that we can certainly also just have an ABC pattern here and then move up here. And once we move up here for another leg, then we'll be looking to move down in maybe even in 3 waves to make new lows here. But anyway, that's the pathway of it all. With the US markets, this little move coming down through here is a bit hard to read on our market, but basically where we are with it, we've got wave 1 and 2 here, and 1 and 2, and 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5. So in the third, fourth, still need a little 5th wave in here. I'll just borrow that one. The 5th wave in here. So you can kind of see roughly in a bit of a nutshell where we are at the moment. So we need all this to finish off in here, and then we'll look at this as being the wave A here, or it could also be in the bigger bearish market, it could be wave 1 here, and then we'll look for the B wave back. So we've got plenty of time. We don't feel like you're missing out on anything. And this can also be wave 2 here. Well, this is the SPY, the S&P 500, so to speak, but this will be basically the same pattern. It's just cleaner here, that's all. That's why I'm showing it here. But that will be the pathway. So if we get 5 waves here, which we probably will, then we can short the 50-60% retracement level, which in the futures market will probably come back and cover any gaps at that point. So this is where we'll start our shorting from. Do we come down in a wave C or wave 3? Then that will be something that we'll need to figure out along the way. But we'll play to win, of course. But that's sort of where it's at the moment. So let's just go in and have a look, pick things up from, let's just go to the 4-hour chart here for a moment, because we know where we are. So basically, as we were looking before, we were looking for an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. So that could still be in play. We can't sort of wipe that off. Australia can do different things to the US, so we'll just be a bit careful about that. And in this case, we still get 5 waves here, we get 3 here, and we get 5 here, coming back to the 38.2% retracement level. With all of that. So, but going into the 1-hour chart, I think it was 1 hour, wasn't it? And then the tick chart. So this is our first leg down through here, really. So we're looking at it as a wave 4, but now we need to also look at it as, well, a wave A and a wave 1 in this case. So wave 1 there. So that's where we'll be. And then a wave, put it up here as a wave B or wave 2. And that will give us a little ABC correction back to the upside. So we still need to finish off down here. So this is all running as it is. So we'll be coming down here for... we'll remove the wave 4 for a moment, but we'll leave it there. We won't take it out totally, but we'll also put this wave C here with a wave A on top here as well. And we can look at that slightly differently, but that's okay for the time being. So what we're looking for is we're looking for this first 5-wave structure to come into play down here for that, and then we're going to be looking for an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave back up here for wave B or wave 2, and this is where we're going to look to short at this point. Now this will be some sort of 3-wave move, but if it's a wave 2, I mean wave B and 2 will do the same thing, but sometimes wave Bs can get complicated. So if it gets complicated, then we'll know that it's possibly a wave B. If it's nice and simple, then it'll be a five waves in here, 3 here and 5 here, and then because we've got 5 here, that means we'll look to do the short position over here, and we'll put in some type of find that 50-60% retracement level there, and we'll turn that box green, and we can start shorting from that. We can short at that high based on having 5 waves here. So I need to do a fair bit of work on this particular trend here. So also too, we've got the 7,000 there as well, so we'll probably end up seeing some sort of, could get quite complicated here. We'll start to see things like this here, so it'll be a bit messy, but I don't think we need to worry about this too much. We just need to leave it be, and then this becomes quite clear over here, and this is the point of interest over here. Okay, so that's how that will play out. I'll go to the, just have a little look here. It looks like wave 1 to here and 2 to here on this chart. I need to do work in there on the 100 ticks. I haven't done all the work that's needed. I'm not confident in what I've got here, right? So don't worry about this too much. I'm quite sure that we're going to see the market sort of vibrate around this area here. So I'm just putting in group 2 below the level, below the 7,000 and 65 here. I mean, it might even stretch, that should be 6965. It may even stretch itself down to the 50 here as well, maybe even lower as well, but we'll just see. You know, the 7,000 is going to hold it here a little bit. I really need to work out all of this in here. I don't feel happy about any of this. I'm okay with wave 3 here and 4 here. Yeah, and I think I also need to lift that up 1 degree, so I need to do some work on that area. But like I said, there's nothing really much to do in this area here, so what we're really interested in is the larger ABs. What we're interested in is the correction, the rebalancing of this trend down here that's over this side, and only in the later stages of it over here that we're interested in it as well. Okay, so this will be our point over here for all of that. Alrighty, let's move along a little bit. So where does that leave CBA? I mean, will we be doing the same as the US? Is this wave 4 still valid here? I mean, this stochastics is pulling down quite strongly here, isn't it? I mean, if you wanted to short this, well then this is probably the place to short it with a stop, because it's below the level, but it does look like it wants to bounce back, so we'll need to be mindful of that. This still could be a wave 4 here. As I mentioned yesterday, we can look at this, or I think it was yesterday, but we could look at this as 1 and 2 here, and 1 and 2 here, and 1 and 2 here, until one of these highs have breached. Then it can, you know, really cascade to the downside. So you could short it here if you wanted to, and just leave the stop out of the way, you know, well out of the way, in fact, up here somewhere. You could probably put it here. Yeah, I just don't like trading around the large numbers here, and it hasn't sort of. I mean, what I would want to see here really is I'd want to see it come through the level like it's doing now, and then go back and test it, you know, that type of thing. So it hasn't done that test yet. So shorting it here will get you trapped. So I think we'll just take that away. We'll just monitor it for a little while. When the ASX 200 does its rally, we'll see what this looks like at that point. Okay, but we probably won't be looking at this. We'll probably be looking at more downside at this point, and we'll probably need to put this wave A over here, and we'll remove these here. That's not going to be the case. That could still be the case. So we may be looking just for a deeper move down into the 61.8% overall here, so that to here. So we might be looking at some sort of ABC pattern down to this point, and then a move up to wave C here, and then down from that point. But at the same time, it can also come straight down from here as well. I know that's not very helpful, but yeah, we'll just see how we go at this point. I'll just move these out of the way here for a moment. But definitely this looks like in a couple of days we'll see this bounce back, so just be careful about that. Okay, over to the resources. So this is iron ore here, and we've been looking at it as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. Now we could also put this as an A and a B and a C up here for this top here as well, and we can come further down. I was looking at this, counting it as wave 1 and 2 here, 1 and 2. I suppose, yeah, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, looking at a third wave, a fourth wave that could already be done and dusted here, or over here somewhere a bit further up, and then down for 5 and 3 and 4 and 5. So another move down here further to finish off that. It does take us past the 50-60% retracement level, so it's probably bearish at that point and take us down further at that point. So we might need to look at this a little bit differently. When we look at the seaborne Singapore exchange here, I was looking at this here and I was wondering, because we have an A wave and a B wave here, can we look at this as 1 and 2 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third, the fourth, and then come down for the fifth here and make a new low here? You know, it's getting support on the 100 here, so it's kind of stuck there for a while, and let's just see, you know, if it gets onto the lower end of the 100, because if that's the case, then it's highly likely we're going to be coming down here further for that, you know. But where does that leave us with the market? So with our local BHP here, we've been counting this up. I could count it up as an ABC for an A wave here and a B wave and then a C wave here, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, or 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. But what I wanted to see at the end of the day is I want to see the first high above this level here. Once that high comes in and then comes back, then we've got those highs to go long on, or it's going to fade and end up coming down further at that point. I mean, BHP is a little bit different than Rio because of the copper that they have, you know. So copper is, you know, labelled as one of the green new resources, you know, with vanadium and lithium and all the rest of them, and crazy sand and stuff, you know. So and copper is looking, has got much the same pattern, as looking a bit bullish. So it's possible for BHP to diverge from Rio and FMG. So we'll just bear that in mind a little bit. So, but at the same time, I do want to see a setup. So I am counting from this low here of 1 and 2 here, and then there'll be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the third, the fourth, and the fifth. So I still want to see at least one more high here, then pull back, and then we can look to go long above the B wave at that point, if indeed that's going to be the case. So with Rio here, yeah, the only way I'd be going long here with Rio is that if we got the first high above the level, and then we could go long above it there, as I've mentioned before. Otherwise, it's still susceptible of, you know, moving lower, and it can even move up here and move lower as well. There's a whole lot of things that can happen here. It looks rather corrective, this pattern across here. So, you know, I might have to put wave 4 over here as well. I don't know how this is going to play out just yet, but certainly it doesn't give me a long trade at this point. FMG, as I mentioned before, we've got this from the low here, we've got this 3-wave move here, so anything above that would turn it sort of bullish at that point. would start a bullish trend, because I've got 3 waves here. Anything above that, well, you know, because, you know, if this little move in here, it looks corrective, but it hasn't really crossed over one of the highs here yet. So we'll see. But yeah, because if it made another move up here, well, then how do you count that? You could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probably not, because you've got overlapping wave structures. Then you have to call that 1 and 2, and 1 and 2 here, and then a 3, 4, and 5 up here. That could make a bigger B wave up here. You know, that's possible, but it would be moving up higher, whichever way we looked at it. So, but anyway, it's not confirming anything to us yet. So it's still open just to be a 3-wave correction with a move coming lower. Oh, this is copper here. I should have put that in with so this is really the same move that BHP has got in its own little way. I was thinking that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the A wave, and ABC for the B wave here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming down for the C wave here. I'm not quite sure yet, but it'll be interesting if we do take that top out here. But we can kind of, you know, look at it as a low being put in place and an impulse wave structure occurring here. So yeah, it's looking quite healthy in its own way. You know, I mean, when you look, maybe we should be looking at lithium stocks rather than, you know, stocks that are moving. You know, so yeah, anybody got any ideas about any of the green metals that we should be tracking? Then we could just pop 1 or 2 of them in here. It's got to be one of the big ones, and it's got to be a producer rather than a some sort of third-party situation. Gold, GDX here, as I mentioned, with GDX and Newcrest Mining and ABX, that it's more likely that we've got the 4th wave here, and we're looking for the 5th wave to the downside. So I'm just sort of going to stay with that, you know. But the thing is as I mentioned yesterday in the commodities video, I think, is that is US spot gold like this as well? You know, do we need to treat US spot gold in this and have another move down here? That's what's sort of on my mind a little bit, you know. So so with US spot gold here, we've been counting it up as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then we can have this as the top or this as the top. So it's made it a little bit difficult for me. I just don't like spiky tops, you know. I'd rather put this here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 to here and 5 to here, a shorter move there, and then start looking at this in a way. But the point is being here, it's moved back to its 61.8%. So I think we just need to monitor this for a little while. We could probably put the whole ABC pattern into this area here, but we'd need to see it push up from that point, which is a bit difficult because the US dollar is still needs to move higher. You know, that's the other point with this. So we could end up looking at this market here, this gold market, much down as GDX here. We could be looking at, I don't know if that's actually finished yet, but we could be looking at as a 1 and 2 over here for this. So we've got a slight problem here. I mean, everything's okay so far as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and pulling back into the 61.8%. But if it starts to move down further here, you know, then we've got a bit of an issue with that, of course. And Newcrest Mining, so as I mentioned yesterday, the little pop here was because they said something that they were going to produce 8% more. So obviously the market liked that, but proof's in the pudding. You know, they've got a mine or two that's not doing that sort of well and things. I don't know the whole story, so I should just shut up. But basically, in terms of patterns, I don't see 5 waves here. So still looking for more downside. I think this is actually wave 1 here and 2 here. So I'll just copy this and we'll just give it a label. Let's just see how that moves along a little bit. And we would want wave 3 to come down. Doesn't have to be as long as the 3rd wave here. 5th waves can be kind of shortish. They can extend in commodities too, but let's just see how that sort of goes. We're getting increased volume, I think so here. Oh no, a little bit shorter. I mean, there was a lot of volume that pushed it up yesterday, the day before as well, but possibly as 1 and 2 here, we'll see. Could be 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. I don't know. Anyway, it's taken that low out here now, hasn't it? I think. Yeah. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? So kind of confirms that this is corrective, right? So we'd definitely be coming down further. The 18 will give it some sort of support here. Apart from 18, 1720 and then 1650 is the big number here. So that's the kind of one we're looking at. 17 and 16 give tops and bottoms, but 1650 is where we'll pick up a long trade from, if indeed that's going to be the case. So the US dollar index here, it hasn't quite taken out the top here, but as I've mentioned the last time we spoke, is that I've got two targets. I've got a wave 5 that will take us to probably 11,200, and then we could also build it up further, going quite a bit higher as well within all of this, because if we look at, if I do take this as length of wave 1 here, the time that it took, wave 5 would be rather short, and things haven't changed much on the landscape lately, so there's no reason why we're not going to see a stronger US dollar in all of this. But where does that leave the Australian dollar? We know that, we know stocks like the markets like the euro, US dollar, and the pound here that I brought in yesterday, and now it's also just gone through the bottom here of this one, so it confirms that as being a wave 4. So I don't know if we go down for wave 5 here, or we have a bigger wave 5 coming down. I don't know that yet. But the Australian dollar has got the same pattern off the top, off the low here. It's got this roughly the same anyway, but it hasn't pulled back down that far either. Hasn't pulled down that far. I won't go into this here. I suppose I will just have a little so I just rejigging this here. So I think we got wave 1 here, 2 here, 1 and 2 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, fourth wave, fifth wave for the third, the fourth, and the fifth, and that'll take us up to around 11.2 there. Well, yeah, anyway, that doesn't matter too much. It'll be a dance across the 11,000 in that case. So I don't know if I need to label this wave 1 up here and then back for wave 2 in that case, I don't know how far that US dollar is going to go just yet, but looking at the coming back over here and looking, we've got our sorry, what's on log scale. So we've got, this is this, if I looked at the 10-year, this is our 2-year government yields here. So that's pushing up to wave 3, 4 and 5 up here. And that could just be the top of wave 3 over here as well, if I take in a big spike down the bottom. This spike over here as 1 and 2, which I don't really have included. This, yeah, that's the third wave, fourth wave and fifth wave. So, but that's all still just an impulse wave off the low as well. Do you know what I mean? So that's that could go that could go much further. So when I look at the US 10-year yields, it's the same. We've got the same pattern, the same wave 4 here, and everything looks pretty rosy with everything. So we're in an impulse. So if this is getting higher interest rates here, from the thing, it's everybody's in the current environment, everybody will want to be in US dollars, won't they? Even Aussies getting 3% on the US money, and the currency exchange will give you another 30-odd%, and that's just that spread's going to widen. So I think the US dollar is going to kind of continue while the yields are going up and the rest is falling out of bed. So anyway, we'll see how we go. But where does that leave us, our little Aussie dollar here? So a little commodity dollar. So the commodities are kind of switched beds a little bit, haven't they? The iron ore's not the big earner. Unfortunately, coal has gone rampant. So that's a bigger earner. So there's other things that have changed. But the thing is that with this market here, I can look at it, this as being a positive move here. So I can look at it like, I'm just in two minds really. It hasn't taken out the lows here like it has done with the other markets. It doesn't mean that, I mean, it might just be lagging. So we could look at it as an A wave here, an A, B, C for the B wave here, and then, you know, the C wave coming down here and then moving up here. I don't think that's the case now because the S&P is not going to be moving up. So we're kind of back to looking at this being a corrective pattern and probably seeing this here as we're seeing the indices at the moment, a little bit further to go down and then a move up and then a move down at that point. So it's probably something like that. So going back to the, what's it, the 1 hour chart? I've counted 5 waves down here so far, 1, 2, 1, 2 here, and then 3, 4, and 5 for third, fourth, and fifth here. So, but I'm, you know, if it's following the S&P and that, well, then it's still got further to go down. It'll have something. Oh God, okay. So, so it will probably have a couple more lows here, so I won't worry about it too much. But what I am wanting to do is look at this, the rally after it's finished this 5-wave structure. I'll have to extend this out a bit further, try to understand it. But when we go to short the S&P 500 on as B wave or wave 2 up here, or the same with the Australian ASX 200 as I mentioned, well then we'll look for the short trade over here for that. I just feel this needs to come down into 68 here and bounce around a little bit further, but I can't see how or the best way to extend it out just yet. I can see one way, but it still doesn't give me quite enough. Anyway, I need to work on that. I'll leave it at that for the time being, and more important to get the video out on time. Alrighty, cheers.